This is the hope, isn't it, that you can tap this potential, but others see it too, do they not? The thing is, you're small, you're growing incrementally. What is your strategy?
Well, first, of course, we stopped in really about 3 years back, 3 to 4 years back in 2019. That was really, I think, partly helped by the national development policy of Hong Kong's economic integration with the in the old days we called it the Pearl River Delta, but in fact now we call Greater Bay Area. That's obviously a very different area, say, compared to 10, 20 years ago. It's actually now is the economic powerhouse on the east coast of or southern coast of China. So people are getting a lot more disposable income. People are looking more towards the international market to do different things, whether it's through tourism or doing business. So that in itself is actually a more mature market than, say, 10 years ago. So that is why we've been saying we need to tap into that market. Yeah. Hong Kong, in our business, we talk about international. Well, Hong Kong is a very small market in its own, only 7 million population. But we're 8 million Greater Bay Area, and of course the rest of the world. So with this area right next to us, why don't we do something there? Now, but obviously bear in mind that area has always been supporting Hong Kong's general development. We have people from Hong Kong getting into Shenzhen area, of course the coastal areas. But likewise, we also have people from that area coming through the Hong Kong airport in the past years. But what we're saying now is that there's a lot more to really look into, and we should do more.
So you're looking at expanding into the mainland, flying there soon. Can you tell us about those plans? It seems like they're quite imminent now. Yeah,
obviously this year, because of the pandemic in the past 3 years, and of course with the late opening up of China to the traveling because of the pandemic, quarantine all the requirements now. So we start off with the destinations outside mainland China first. So we've now gone up to 6 to 7. We have gone to Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, and the next target is really going into the first-tier cities in mainland China. Of course, that's really where the market is, where demand is. We're looking at, hopefully next year, we'll be going into both Beijing, Shanghai, first-tier cities. And then following on that, some other cities like Hangzhou, Chengdu, Chongqing, gradually. But we have to do it step by step because things don't happen overnight.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be Greater Bay Airlines, you've got to have hubs also in Shenzhen, perhaps in Zhuhai as well. That's one part of it.
Really. We are a Hong Kong-based carrier.
OK, let's just talk about then what your value proposition is then if you're going to be flying into the mainland. What is going to be your USP? What's going to differentiate you? Is it price, service? Because you're in between being a low-cost carrier and being a full-service carrier.
Exactly where we are. That's right, yeah. Well, the market is big enough. And I certainly believe there are people who are willing to spend a lot of dollars to go to a luxury way. That's fine. Or there are also people who are very, very careful with the lot. That's fine. Equally, there's a lot in between. I mean, we certainly believe that we are going to offer, good product in terms of, say, service in the cabin, service on the ground, and, things like that. Well, there will be a way to finish ourselves from that.
How was the recent Golden Week holidays for you? How was business?
No, generally, I don't think airlines will never be worried about business in the holidays. It's the rest of the year that you need to worry about. Right? All airlines have done reasonably well in the holidays. If you really look at, say, whether mainland China or Hong Kong, everyone has been doing well.
Do you get a sense of when China might return back to those pre-pandemic levels?
OK, well, that's a good question. In fact, you have to look at Chinese mainland China market we're talking about, right? Yes. You have to look at it in two ways. One is domestic. Domestic is way recovered beyond 2019 level already. It's only the international part of it. Yeah. When you look at the latest statistics, the international market is perhaps roughly back to about 50% or so of what you used to enjoy. If you really go into the details, it's more the U.S. market is lagging behind. And Southeast Asia, North Asia, generally, they actually have recovered quite well already. Europe also slowly, but nonetheless, we have to recognize the fact that we have different developments around the world. You have the conflict in Ukraine. You now have the latest, of course, conflict here and there. So that's affecting, of course, the recovery of traffic.
Yeah, and how do you mitigate the higher oil price very quickly?
Well, I mean, you have to get on, well, it's additional cost with the airlines, because luckily that we also have the mechanism of fuel surcharge, so we can actually surcharge the passengers for it.
So we end up paying more already on high ticket prices, right?
Well, somebody has to. Somebody has to pay for it.
Stanley, let's just talk about expansion. You're going to need planes. Now, the thing is, you've got this MOU for these Dreamliners. That means that you have ambitions to go long haul. We talk about the destinations that you want to travel to. But short haul, as we wait for these 15 73 MAX 9s, you know, it's going to be a while before you get them. Do you buy second-hand planes meanwhile?
Well, obviously, when we first started, of course, we had to rely on the second-plane aeroplanes, but they were actually very new. Actually, the three we got from Norwegian Airlines, which of course went bankrupt during COVID. They were just 3 years old. You know, these are very good airplanes, and so far we've been flying these airplanes. They are extremely reliable, I must say. Really, sort of very well. Now, the 15 MAX airplanes that we've ordered will be delivered starting from next year, roughly about 2, 3, 4 a year, so until about 2028. So hopefully in about 3, 4 years' time, we would have actually built a sizable, really, of course, decent regional network. Now, with a regional network, that then, of course, lays the foundation for further sort of developments, such as, of course, longer haul markets. So the real plan is, in a few years' time, set the regional network is set, and then 787 could come in at that time.
Okay. So you're not looking to buy more at this point, aircraft-wise?
No, not beyond what we have announced.
So you only got, what is it, 4 planes or 7 planes?
Well, yes, and we now have 4, but we have another 4 coming in. And really, of course, in fact, those airplanes are being transferred from our owner who owns an airline in Shenzhen. So that will come in in the coming 6 months, and then we're taking delivery of the MAX aircraft from August, September next year.
Are you looking into cargo aircraft?
Well, anything's possible. Well, of course, the cargo is
the
always a very
Dreamliner
nice.
is not one you can use, yeah.
No, I would say be realistic, do what we can, build the current network. That's the most important job for us.
Stanley, do you remember the old adage? How do you become a millionaire? You buy an airline, and you're a billionaire.
No,
That's
Richard
how you become a millionaire.
And Richard Branson definitely is got some philosophical point there.
I think he might be a case in point, but we're not sure about that yet.
There are also some other airlines which have been extremely successful around the world. So maybe he was more talking about himself.